Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digital brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digital.
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digital TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
A very good evening, our viewers. We thank you for joining us this evening. It's yet another edition of the Hotline Show that runs every Monday at the Dig Talk TV. Well, for those who do not know where exactly to be part of the show, just share a tip with your colleague. You should log into your Facebook page and you'll be able to see all our programs as they do run here on the Dig Talk TV at, of course, on the different platforms. That's Facebook and then the YouTube. My name is Abdallah Latif, and tonight we need to discuss the whole idea, the whole concept of affirmative action. Affirmative action, this is something that came into play, I think, when you look at the 1995 Constitution. It came up basically to bridge that gap within the marginalized groups of people who felt they were left behind. And of course, these include the women, the youth, persons with disabilities, the workers, and among others. And when you go to our parliament, the Parliament of Uganda, there are those specific groups as mentioned. They have their spacious lots, put aside for them. For instance, in every district of Uganda, there must be one representative for the women, who is called as the Woman Member of Parliament. We also have members of Parliament representing the youth, these drawn from different regions. We also have workers members of Parliament. I am yet to understand and find out whether UPDF falls under the same category. Well, tonight I am not alone in the studios. I have been joined by Madame Babirye Lilian. She is a women activist. She leads an organization called Network of Women in Politics. Their main focus is to see that they create space and a platform for women within Uganda so that they take a central stage in decision making within our country. For instance, when we talk about politics, they try to advocate for more space, for platforms, for visibility of all women within the country so that they come and take up a center stage within our politics and, of course, influence decision making. Well, you're most welcome, Madame Lilian, and it's a pleasure to have you here on the show.
Thank you, Mr. Abdallah. I'm so humbled and pleased to be part of this great show. I've actually been the #1 fan of this show.
Thank you.
I'm right now very happy and excited.
Thank you.
I'm one of those people that have been chosen out in this country to come and be part of this show.
Thank you so much. That's Babirye Lilian for you. Just like I said, she is the executive director of the organization, which is a network of women in politics. She's also one of the people who really want to advocate for women's rights in different arenas. And of course, for the people of Entebbe City, which is in anticipation, I think she's one of the people who was eagerly eyeing that seat to come and represent. I don't know whether the women or the certain area. She will give us more details. Well, Madam Lilian, the whole concept of affirmative action has been misunderstood as something which is specifically for women. Yes. I do not know how to treat that.
Of course, affirmative action started with women and girls, and that was in 1991, as provided for by our Constitution, as you said. The major aim of affirmative action was to bridge gaps and to bridge the imbalances that were there historically, and these were the imbalances that were directly affecting women. It started with politics, women in politics, and also in the education sector, where we found out that the government put in place strategies and mechanisms to make sure that they incorporate that young woman that is down there, that is not getting enough education, that is affected by monthly periods, that is affected by school dropouts, and by the time they reach university, they are not making it because of those structural and stereotypical barriers that affect them. So I believe that it is not for only women right now, because we have incorporated in so many things. There is an intersectional approach that has made it go beyond women, and maybe it has captured the youth, the disabled, the persons in hard-to-reach areas.
We call them persons with disabilities.
Yeah, the persons with disabilities. Yes. Sorry, it shouldn't be me an activist saying that.
Yeah.
The PWDs, the persons with albinism.
Yes.
So it is all cross-cutting, and these are people that are incorporated and are helped by this affirmative action policy. Sometimes we relate the affirmative action policy with equal opportunities. We now see in this country, we have this organization that is called the EOC, that is working hard to make sure. Commission. Yeah, that is the Equal Opportunities Commission, that is making it very, very easy for the different categories, the marginalized, the minority groups, to come and benefit from the services. And of course, I like the fact that some of us are beneficiaries of this affirmative action. I myself, I remember after my senior 6, I only lacked the 1.5 to get government sponsorship. So when I calculated my marks, I became...
The 1.5?
Yes. It is the 1.5 that made me get government sponsorship. So this is something that I give credit to government, of course. I also give credit to the women. Remember, there are women led by Honorable Miriam Matembe that fought so hard to make sure that this government incorporates affirmative action in the education system. Although we still see so many gaps, of course, we now see gaps in politics, but of course, there are also some gains that have been achieved.
Do you still see gaps in politics when year in, year out, we have members of parliament who come on the affirmative action ticket to represent their different districts, but you find that even in some other districts, these are the same faces of women coming up. And is that a gap? What do you mean when you say?
Yeah, of course it's a gap, because if you've been empowered in the first 5 years, you're getting empowered in the second 5 years. I mean, there are young girls, we were putting up this, we lobbied for this space so that this could become a training ground for new women leaders.
Oh, women are slow learners.
No, you cannot say women are slow learners. Yet women are leading
more years in parliament
institutions.
to learn.
Yet women are becoming vice presidents. Yet women are taking on KCCA. Women are not slow learners. And when you find women that are agile, they'll serve without corruption, with transparency, with dedication. So you cannot say women are slow learners.
I meant
but
slow learners for those in parliament.
No, they are not slow learners, but there are imbalances, of course. You find that these women that are continuously going into those positions have the money. And the monetized politics right now, if you do not have money to convince the voters to do certain things, there are certain things once you say, I'm going to start, are must-dos. Whether you have money or not, you must do. There are so many functions going on. There are so many pledges coming in. There are so many invitations coming in as for leaders.
The moment you raise up your head.
Exactly. The moment you say, I'm going to stand, your door will become busy. every other time someone comes in and they need help from you. And in order for people to start saying, oh, this one is on ground, this one is helping us, this one is doing A, B, C, D, you must be that someone who has a good wallet. So you find out that these young girls are girls from university, girls that have not done any kind of work, girls that are not yet employed anywhere. They have the desire to serve, but they do not have the capacity. They don't have the financial capacity.
So the benefit of the affirmative actions ends at 1.5.
Exactly.
Mark at points.
Yeah.
Just in case if it's needed. Because sometimes you may have it when it's of no value.
Yeah, you may have it when it's of no value. Then you also find out that there are also women that are becoming selfish. Some people have mastered the roles of power. They'll break everyone that tries to come up. They'll break everyone. Sometimes you even find that these women will hire someone, for example, in a political party, they'll come and hire someone to stand against you, and that person is not serious, only to neutralize your ground, so that you're not excelling and getting high if you are a strong candidate. So we still lack mentorship. So women come up, yes, they show they want to serve and maybe go to parliament, go to council, but already there is a bridge between those that are already there and the newcomers. So these continue doing things as they are not doing advocacy, because you find out that in the past we've had so many voices of women that are out there speaking every issue that comes up for women. Women are up there doing like maybe consultations, going for demonstrations, standing up in parliament, banging tables and making sure the women's voice is heard. But right now, the new entrants are still, people are still learning. How do I do this? How do I move a motion? Yet this is something that would have already been done if these women were mentored.
We have members of parliament who have been there for, I wanted to say ages, but I think that's being exaggerating. Who have been there for years.
Yeah.
We can mention some, because it's the reality.
Yeah, it's the reality, and we've started breaking that.
Honorable Kadaga Alitwala.
Yeah.
Kamuli has never seen any other member of parliament representing women.
Yeah,
other than Kadaga.
Yeah.
Is Cecilia Ogwal on affirmative action?
Yeah, she is. She should be on affirmative action.
Dokoro woman
yes. MP.
We have Cecilia Ogwal.
Yeah, we even had Seninde who was beaten.
Actually, Seninde.
She had really spent a lot of time.
There.
I remember I was
the second member of parliament for the first time.
Exactly.
After Seninde.
And we were in senior 6 actually when she was member of parliament. You read, finish your books, graduate. It is the same faces. I think as women, we should also start fronting a new policy, maybe some kind of policy changes in the affirmative action policy, so that we see these women, at least if we can put term limits.
Actually, before we get there, my question was, the question I wanted to pose. Now that we have the Kadagas, the Cecilia, the Senindes, yes, she's not in the parliament, but she's still an influential person.
Yeah.
Have these people done enough to take advantage of the affirmative action, like maybe we need to bring more Lilians, the Babiryes, and we empower them, we encourage them, like, please, Babirye, rise up, come up, this is our space, come and we fight for. Has that been there?
What I can tell you is that so many women speak. We are very good at speaking. When we are into workshops, when we are into conferences, people rise up and say, I'm going to mentor this and this number, I'm going to talk to women, I'm doing ABCD, but the reality never matches what is spoken. So there is still a very big problem. These women want to shine alone. Very many women want to shine alone. You find that you're into a group, but someone is laboring and they're not even sharing information. How they are doing it, how they are shining, how they are progressing, how they are accessing opportunities that are making them become bigger and like recognize people in the different public spaces. So it is still a very big challenge for these women to come and take on the young ones. Because first of all, fear. Women are not confident. They'll be like, okay, when I bring this one, when I mentor her, she's going to become my next political problem. So that kind of rotating around where women are like, I'll be the master, I'll live when I die, you know. That is a big problem in politics, and it's going to affect the new generation, that we are going to get a group of women that are not well groomed, not well prepared, and not well taken care of in terms of politics. And the biggest problem now that we have is that the Democratic Governance Facility that has been funding most of these programs and mentoring the young women into politics, providing information on how women can become better and become significant and contribute significantly in decision-making platforms, has been shut down right now. So women are right there just waiting for the day to come and contest without even having any content of how a good leader and legislator should be or look like.
Well, when you listen to the whole conversation of the affirmative action, and of course, if you try to trace the journey, how far they have come, you'll have to believe, forcefully believe, that now the whole affirmative action is on the flip side.
Yeah.
Should we say that now women have been given so much in the context of affirmative action, now to the point that it's now the men who need the affirmative action?
That can never be. That can never be, and I will not agree with you. Because there are so many issues that bring us down as women. You are a mother, you are a wife.
We're fathers too.
Your roles are different from mine. When you look at your gender roles, they are totally different from mine. My sex roles are different from yours. Mm-hmm. You know? So I need, I still need those. I still need those incentives.
Okay.
And sometimes we are still grappling with the quantity vis-a-vis the quality. Yes, the women are given platform, but when they reach those decision-making platforms, they are in the back seats. They are not contributing anything. They are only there to clap.
That's where they choose to be.
No, no.
Who puts them there?
This society, the patriarchal society, determines who says what.
I think there are some who still have that, they call it inferiority complex.
It's not only, it's the setting alone. The setting alone, and you see women, maybe it's a decision-making platform. It could even be cabinet. We don't know what happens in cabinet. The other day I saw a photo of army officers that had only men, and we are discussing security issues of this country. You only see women posing in front when there is a photo moment. Then women will come and pose for photos. Yet back in boardrooms, they have not been.
They're sidelined.
Exactly. So we also need
Are those just mere talks, or it's what happens in reality?
It is what happens in reality. And it takes strong women to come up and say, we shall do ABCD, we shall front our cause. The other day we were at Golden Tulip, and the executive director for UONET was saying, where are the women? We have, yes, Madam Rita Achiro was saying, where are the women? The women in politics. We have so many issues affecting this gender, but no one is up there fronting their needs, fronting their problems, their challenges. Yet we have a good percentage right now in Parliament.
So what's happening? Because when you go to Parliament, we cannot say that they are being sidelined like we would assume in other boardrooms. This is an open space, and the Speaker of Parliament is a fellow woman whom I think she has not sidelined them in whatever way. Are you presenting this country with the rightful person, women who are fully capacitated, you know, and they know what to do?
Yeah, I want to say something. You know that women struggle to catch the eye of the Speaker in Parliament? Not only women, let me say. There is a struggle in Parliament to catch the eye of the Speaker.
Oh, it is the Speaker who doesn't catch the eye of the women.
You know, when we are out here, we do not know the dynamics. There is a procedure that you follow if you have to move a motion. Mm. There are procedures you follow if you want to speak in committee and all that. There is some kind of bureaucracy. You don't just wake up and you say, I'll raise up my hand and give my issue of front, my there are so many things that are happening that hinder women, that deter them from coming up and maybe speaking confidently. Then I also feel, I think these women are my sisters, and sometimes it's good to tell them the truth. We also need to increase on our knowledge base. If you're not well researched, if you don't know exactly what you're going to speak about, if you don't have if you don't have a defensive, like you're not ready to defend what you're bringing. If you don't have a caucus, women need to start caucusing in parliament, in local councils. Who are going to be your supporters if you stand up and bring up a motion? If you stand up and bring something, who is going to support you? Do you have these male allies? Do you have these people that are going to bang the table for you, to energize you, so that the speaker picks your point and makes it like something that will be handled, you know? So those are the things the Network of Women tries to do. We empower women, we give them practical sessions on how to lobby for development, on how to lobby for these affirmative action policies, good governance, transparency, so that women are not only seated in the back and waiting for what next, you know.
I think I want to ask you this.
Yes.
When you look at the members of parliament, the women members of parliament, we have, of course, 140 plus.
150.
150.
Yeah.
They're on affirmative action.
Yeah.
Then on top of the 150,
there are those on direct seats.
we have those on direct seats.
Yes.
So you find that parliament has close to 250 women.
Not 178.
Okay.
Yeah.
170?
Yeah, it's close to 170.
Okay.
It doesn't
so
get to
if
200.
we have 170,
yeah,
and okay, let's stick to the 150. Now, are these 150 been given enough knowledge and skills on what they're supposed to do in parliament, or the affirmative action is also doing us a disservice as a country?
It's not, of course. I mean, I think I want to say that we are experiencing a new lot of women parliamentarians. The 2021 elections saw a new generation. Women that are first-timers, women that are just making it for the first time, and like they do not know so much.
I always try to shun that conversation of first-timer. I want to assume that by the time one makes a decision that I want to go there,
no, don't
you should go through the no whips and the what, so that you... Because when we go with that narrative, I am a first-timer. No, we don't need first-timers.
Exactly, but you don't need first-timers, but the voters don't know this. Sometimes
no. I'm not saying I don't need first-timers.
Yeah.
I don't want the narrative that this one is a first-timer.
But that is the reality.
If the opportunity is there,
that is the
let
reality.
it be equally given out. So you should be prepared in that when you get there, don't make us regret that.
Now, the biggest problem is that most women join politics when they are not prepared.
And that's why I asked you,
yeah,
is the affirmative action doing us a disservice as a country by presenting leaders who are substandard?
Yeah, it should be a duty of us, the CSOs, the organizations that work with women, to identify women early enough. But the challenge that comes in, most organizations want to look for women in the last 3 months of election. What will they learn? What are they going to gain in the remaining 3 months to elections? That's why we have already looked at starting mentorship sessions, mentorship programs for these young women that we have already identified in our different locations and districts. So I think that is the #1 problem. Okay. Women do not know each other. Someone does not know anyone in politics, but they want to stand for woman MP in a district right now. They do not know, they totally know nothing apart from knowing that I'll go and nominate. I'm I need 3 million. I need party endorsement. And all that, and 10 signatures. If they are lucky, they even know that. Some do not know anything. All they know is I'll go do a poster, a beautiful one, and make sure I'm present on nomination day. And that's all. That is why we are finding a big problem right now. But we are carrying on with the journey. We are talking to different stakeholders. We are talking to donors to give us chance to train these women. We want, that is why I said, yes, the quality now, the quantity is now there because of affirmative action.
So you need to embark on the quality now.
Exactly. Because even you look at the top 3 positions that are having women, for me, I'm not yet satisfied as Lilian. I have not seen anything super.
You have the vice president.
Yeah, we have the vice president.
Minister.
Actually, me, I'm even getting away from that narrative.
You have the speaker.
Where you go into spaces and
you
you're
have
like Uganda.
you have two deputy prime ministers.
We have 2 deputy prime ministers, East Africa woman, health woman, education woman. It's becoming a song. But when you look at the issues affecting women, now there is Ebola in Kasanda and Mubende. Do you know the challenges women are going through? Yes, the other day, I think yesterday, I watched NTV News, and it is men who came up.
No, but I've seen I think it's yesterday, I saw the Prime Minister talking about...
Holistically, but we are talking about activism. Because it's her duty. She will come and address, but when it gets to the nitty-gritties, the real issues affecting these women, the rural women, the villagers, how are you going to help them cope with the Ebola and the economic crisis that they've been facing? Are people going to continue dying because you've locked everything and you do not even provide any mitigants for people to continue coexisting as also Ebola goes on and takes its toll?
Babirye, and these women, for instance, if you take a look at some of the women, the top women now, we have in this country, with the exception of a few, and some of these women being, given too much beyond their capacity.
I don't want to say because I don't know their capacities. I'm still failing. Okay. In the past, you could see Matembe, and that is the capacity. You could gauge by what she says, what she advocates for. You didn't need any further opening of books and checking. But right now, I cannot say maybe they're incapacitated or I don't know.
No, I think they're being given too much.
Maybe the power is too much, yes?
Not too power. I think the load is too much for
the
load that comes within the responsibilities given
the workload vis-a-vis their capacity.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, maybe you're right. I don't want to comment
because we, for instance, we have you see, I will mention them because it's not a lie. These are the people these are the people occupying these offices. We have Madam Nabanja, Right Honorable Prime Minister, we've seen her move them. Then she's more of a mobilizer.
Even the vice president.
We have the vice president.
Functions only representing.
No, but at least for the vice president, that's the tradition. We know that. We don't expect much from that position. We know that, right?
Yeah, but I expected a speaker who could push more since, we had a former speaker, Rebecca. Every issue that came up for women, she was on the forefront. She could call everyone, come on board, civil society, several actors could come on board and make sure those issues are solved instantly. But of course that is missing. I do not even know whether the generation that we have now is also looking at these women as mentors or role models, because that also counts. When you want to bring more women in politics, they should be women they are looking at.
We have the Minister of ICT.
But now we keep bringing in the women.
We have the State Minister for ICT. Doesn't she inspire you?
Sometimes you even get to know the minister. You get to know the ministers on TV when they put, so this one is also a minister. They are not doing enough. Yet the issues that need to be handled.
We have Honorable Nabosa Joyce Sebugwao, State Minister for ICT.
State Minister for ICT.
Doesn't she inspire you?
Not really. I don't know that. I don't think she inspires me.
Well, I think it's also, we also need to know this. Should we say that the system has mastered the art of the game and now they know where the button to press, and then you make every woman happy wherever they are? Like when you put Nabanja there as the Prime Minister, the Babiryes will clap like, yes, that's what we want. When they put 2 Prime Ministers, and different women who have been, you know, put in different positions. Should we say that this is a political move?
Yeah, I think it was a political move, which may be away soon, because I hear there is a new cabinet reshuffle soon. So this way of making us happy may even end soon. Because I was one of the people that maybe I was happy when I saw many women being voted. But one of my friends, Madam Eunice Musime, the IDFAC, na Mama told me, Lilian, don't jubilate. We are not yet there. Look at the quality of the women that have been given these positions. They cannot even beat.
The Baganda say, I will be about
it's not only those ones. There are so many women that are very, very assertive, very hardworking. Women that can change and move things, but these women are not given.
You have Betty Kamia. See what she's doing.
And you know what happens in political parties? Women that are too much are always fault. I want to use the word too much. You're always the one putting up your hand. You're always the one opposing. You're always the one bringing motion. You know?
Your own women, your fellow women fighting.
Yeah. First of all, you'll get the pull her down.
I am hearing that for the second time on this version.
Yeah. And it is very common. There are people that will go out there and speak that we want women, more women. But when you bring the women, they become like they don't want to welcome anyone. They want to be the only ones shining. They want to be the only ones attending talk shows, you know. Everything is centered around them.
And those are women.
And those are women. Very common in politics. In politics, you may find a male counterpart giving you advice on what to do.
Being more supportive.
Exactly.
Where does this live?
And women will tell you, you're going for Entebbe City. Huh? Hey, that NRM. Someone will laugh and tell you, you can't make it. Fellow women. So, we also need to check ourselves. Yes, we have the affirmative action. But what are we going to gain from it if we are pulling ourselves down? We also need to look at statistics. Regional statistics. How many women are coming from the north? Are you going to celebrate as a party if you don't have any women coming from the east, you know? And in terms of performance, the Hansard, how many women are making it up there in committees, in plenary? You know, we need to continue checking ourselves as women.
Not sitting in parliament waiting to raise their hands on whatever subject they do not even understand.
Whatever subject they do not understand.
I witnessed this once in one of the committees I will not mention. I was in
Then we also need to get back to political parties. Of course, the political parties have also adopted this of a third of maybe the NEC, the SEC, being women. But the dynamics in there is also not so easy. You find out that people that are getting these positions, they are either a girlfriend, a friend to a wife, you know, a best friend to a friend. Yeah? And these are the people lined up. So there is no way you're going to make any meaningful decisions if you're entering into leadership positions in such a manner. First of all, you're going to be compromised. There are women I know that cannot make any decision because Mr. ABCD has not said so. They will not
because the boyfriend is not in support of that idea.
Exactly, the political godfather, we call them godfathers, is not in support. And it is making so many women lose focus. Someone who went when they are saying, we are going to do this, we are going to act it for this, we are, you know? That's how women die. And it's
when they get there, the language
it's
changes.
Happening in councils, it's happening in parliament, it's happening in political parties. So as women, I also believe we need to think harder. Some of us here have gone through so many storms in politics.
Lilian, I think I need to understand this well. In the previous years, there's some women we had in parliament, and they were really spot on. You mentioned the Winnie Byanyima,
yes,
the Matembe, even of recent, Nabira in the first time she was
she was good. She was good.
Nabira, we had we had, I am forgetting them, but we had some vibrant
Even
women.
Winnie Kiza was good.
Yes, that's the name I wanted.
Yeah.
Winnie Kiza.
She's actually my role model. I have not replaced her with anyone.
Now, my question is, what has happened to this breed that it has led us to the breed we have today?
Yeah, the first thing is too much multi-party politics. I see so many NRM sisters that will say, yes, that is bad, but because of party position, I'll vote no. You know, when very many issues arise, there are issues that will be seen in communities. Someone is doing maybe community connection activities, and they see issues that are really pertinent, issues that need to be voiced, and maybe people hear and address these issues. But these women will fear even approaching media or coming up to speak because they'll fear party prosecution. What will my party say? I'll be cyber harassed. I'll be name called. So that is also affecting women. Party positions are affecting women so much. In the past, these women that were vibrant did not have they had an attachment to the party, but they were confident.
They're not fully owned by parties.
Exactly. They were not fully owned by parties. They didn't have anything to fear as long as they were advancing the women's cause, which is lacking right now. As I told you, someone needs to first make a call. I want to bring this. Want it, you know?
Well, my biggest worry here is that as we go ahead, you may find that in the next 10 years, if nothing is done today, we will have the worst of the leaders this country will ever experience. Because when you look at the political curve, you know, the assertiveness, like you've earlier mentioned, the curve is going down. Yet we would expect the curve to be
going up.
Going up.
Yeah. I'm one of those people that advocate for maybe an increase in the qualifications.
Okay.
For certain slots, like the Katikilo of Buganda recently said. There should be, I mean, I've said this over and over again. Why should someone from maybe Form 6 go to represent people in Parliament? Go to maybe LC level, where less work is done, no much reading. You don't have a lot on your desk. You just, like, you go to council, pass those budgets, budget conferences and all that. But in Parliament, where we really have serious business, serious government business, legislation for the country, budgeting, going through budget framework papers, ministerial policy statements, how will someone agitate for what they don't understand?
Someone has just finished his A-level.
Someone has just finished A-level. They do not know whether they passed. They're in Parliament.
One time I was discussing with Major Kakoza Mtali.
Yes.
And he told me, I pity this generation. What do you call education that someone has a degree because he answered the 4 numbers and passed?
Yeah.
Now, the kind of members of Parliament we have, they sat their exams, they answered the 4 numbers in a certain paper, you know, they passed, and now they are legislators in the country.
Passing is even not a guarantee, because some may not even have passed. Passing is now another discussion.
As long as you have a certificate.
Exactly. But someone who cannot even construct like a paragraph. People are seated in Parliament. So what change are they going to bring, really?
Amidst all, you know, when you look at the current political trend as it is, do you think there is room to put that mess in order, if indeed it's recognized as a mess?
Yeah, there would have been room, but their interests, it takes us back to parties. Some parties may feel their members, and this may be the majority, they may feel their members do not have the qualifications. So when you bring that, you're already looking out some of the assured
wins.
Puppets, the assured wins. So in terms of acceptance, it may be a challenge, but I think it could be something I would try lobbying from the women's movement. Maybe we start drafting out something that we can front for discussion in Parliament, with the Ministry of Gender, with the Electoral Commission, you know? the different line ministries that are concerned with that. Then I also feel that it should be our obligation as women, because you don't just okay, some people wake up and say I'll stand, but you don't just wake up and say, some people don't just wake up and say I'll stand maybe in 2026. Now I'm here, I plan to stand in Entebbe 2026. But some people are just seated. You know you will stand, you do not have qualification, you cannot even go to a nearest university and upgrade. Okay, even if it's not upgrading, you cannot familiarize yourself with research, reading, you know, to prepare your inner self for the position you want. People are just seated and like, they're like, to whom it may concern.
Nonya sente.
Nonya sente, I want to survive.
Nonya sente za kalulu.
Nonya sente za kalulu.
That's the only preparation.
Exactly, that is the only preparation. So that's why I keep calling upon women. Learn something new every day. It costs you nothing. If you cannot read a novel, read an article, you know, something that will open your brain. And the other challenge that I've seen is that most women in politics are not employed. Somehow, women fall out of employment if they've been employed before. Others leave university and look at politics as the only source of income or point of entry to employment. So it's a very big challenge. And maybe these women sometimes don't even have the money, because I may say you don't want to go and study, but even the resources may not be available for you to go back and upgrade. Then also the hustle, too many hustles around life. Someone is hustling with the children, living, you know, and all those.
As an activist, I was waiting for that.
Today we are removing a dictator, the other day we are in Chitalia, you know, those things, and you feel you must be part of that. So before you know it, time has gone, you've not given yourself time as a person. So we should strike a balance as women in politics, balance between work, your self-care, self-well-being. They always tell us as balance, don't just be one-sided. Balance politics. Balance your work.
And yourself.
Balance yourself, your husband, your children.
Before we go for a break,
yes,
I want to understand this. We have so many women organizations.
Yes.
Of course, in the second hour, that's when we'll be talking so much about WIP and what you're doing.
Yes.
But we have organizations like Forward.
Yes, you want it.
Sewigo. Akina Mama.
Yeah.
Akina Mama. There is no There is that organization. There is that organization in Bakuri. National. Now, you know, so many. What do these people? What do these organizations do? Because none of these organizations mentioned, including you as NOWIP, you know, I don't know for how long NOWIP has been in existence, but at least for these others, they've been in existence for over 5 years, 10 years.
The good thing, I have worked with the first three. So not working as in an employee, but at least I've been engaged in their activities as a trainer. These organizations are always moving from district to district, empowering these women.
So the people you train, where do they go?
They are in office, elective office.
And what is the performance? Have you done an evaluation?
Yes, and these evaluations are done. There is tracking that goes on. You need to get these.
So those in the parliament, because we are talking with the 150 women who have not done to our expectations.
No, I think you should not even blame these organizations, because I think effort, they've really put in a lot of effort.
You're targeting
policy dialogues.
It's not targeting people that when we get to elections, the people who are interested in elections, they do not benefit from your programs.
No, I do not agree with you, because I have seen the women's movement and the women democracy group putting in a lot of effort. Now, like prior to the 2021 elections, they conducted trainings after the 2016 elections for all the councillors. Towards the 2021 elections, they trained again And at least I affirm to that because I was one of the trainers.
So of the 150 on affirmative action, how many have gone through these organizations? Then we will know
let me tell you, for my organization, we had 47 women members of parliament that have gone through no whip.
They are there in parliament?
Yes.
They are among the 150 non-performers?
Exactly. You cannot say, you know, the problem is that we try to, when women are doing something good, then we are okay. We are not speaking.
It is okay. It is normal.
It is okay.
When there is a mistake,
we individualize. ABCD did this. Then that's okay. When one woman commits a mistake,
it's generalized.
Then they start generalizing. Those women, they are not doing ABCD. They are, you know.
The good thing we earlier on agreed together that there is a problem there.
A problem.
Well, this is the Hotline Show, and we will be taking a very short break. And of course, when we return, I'll be able to look through your comments and also open up the studio lines for those who would wish to be part of the conversation and maybe ask a question, or if you need some sort of clarification from my guest tonight, she will be here to respond to you. Well, let's go for a break, and when we return, of course, the Hotline Show will continue.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digital brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digital,
as he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde ttu. Naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti ye akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short break. It's the Hotline Show, and my name is Abdalatif. Well, I want to first go through some of the comments here, just a few of them. Roger Studiahabwe, who is supposed to give them knowledge, Steve? Even the non-female MPs don't get orientation on what they should do. Is it the absence of affirmative action that women become unproductive in their political spheres? Imarin Katumba watching live from Kalangala. Biamukama Gerald, thank you for watching. Then this one says, who defines capacity? What is the parameter for that? The UK has a woman prime minister. Tanzania has a woman president. They more women than these our women leaders here. That is for you. You tell us. At what time do we agree that some of them are incompetent? They're just lampposts equalizing the gender in these spaces. I cannot read all the chats here. I am going to request the team in the control room to help me and take a screenshot of all the comments and then share them with me. Because when I see here in the comments chat, there are quite many. Unfortunately, I can't see all of them. Well, like Ala said, we have Liliane Babirye, the Executive Director of the National Network of Women in Politics. And the biggest question here is, we have so many women in Parliament who have been there on affirmative action. And the question is, have they performed to the expectations, or there is something we need to do with the affirmative action? Earlier on, Lilian talked about having maybe term limits for affirmative action. Why should one represent a district for more, maybe is there need that if one is appointed or voted into office on affirmative action, you should not stand more than once? Twice. No, we should give you one shot. You make it, then we want to assume that 5 years, they have been enough for you to be, how do you call it? There is that... No, there is that English word you use, empowered. Empowered. We want to assume that within the 5 years, you've been empowered. You create space for these other young girls coming up. Entrance, yeah. Yes, and I don't know. This is maybe for you and the legislators, but I do not know whether this is the discussion legislators can really give in themselves to discuss. For instance, do you expect Rebecca Kadaga to tell you that we need term limits on affirmative action?
She's going to be the champion. We want to make her the champion.
Well, before we went for the break.
Yeah, but I think we also need to know that our society, the patriarchal society that we live in, finds it hard to accept women coming for direct seats. So that could also be a problem women are facing. The first time I stood was in Chadondo East. Okay. But there are people that told me, my dear, we love you, but we cannot give you because this is a men's seat.
You're in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place. All you've done, we are happy, but you're in the wrong place.
That's not for you.
And this comes from religious leaders, cultural leaders, fellow women. I remember on election day, someone told me, Lilian, I've even voted for you. We are tired of that woman. Like, my dear, I'm not standing for woman MP. Me, I came for direct seat. So we need to do a lot of sensitization so that women find a soft landing spot for them to go and stand for those direct seats. Because that could also be the reason.
The awareness, should it be on making the public aware of the affirmative action?
Yes, that women are free to stand anywhere. Because a very brilliant woman will struggle convincing. You first have to, before, as men are campaigning, you're busy convincing the public why you're coming on this seat. You know? That will be the first question everywhere you go.
Okay.
Men are busy doing different things. They do not have that barrier. They do not have that time wastage of standing and telling the people, now the Constitution said this article. We even go deeper and tell these women, we give them the articles, equal opportunities, do Article 32, and they have to waste a lot of time explaining that. So that could also be an issue. Then about the women, someone said there that those women are making it. Those women also have challenges. women that are making it to top positions, women that are prime ministers.
Even here we have the...
Yeah.
We have the
I was
number
in
job.
Sweden recently, and these were sharing about the hurdles there.
The facing.
Yeah. What their leader is going through right now. That push and pull. Why is she coming back? Why is she, you know? And there are male candidates that are suitable. The country is becoming more feminine. It's, you know?
So it's not only a problem with us here in the third world
it's not
countries.
only a problem with us.
It's a global crisis.
Yes, it's a global crisis. And because people don't get chance to listen to these people, they do not get chance to interact. Now, like the Tanzanian president, remember when she was just elected and they could bring her the co-wives, that she's seated with co-wives, Someone at a level of a president, they want to pull her down with co-wives, so that she loses concentration and starts concentrating on the what?
The husband.
The husband. Those are structural limitations that impose discrimination on women in leadership. Then we also have what they call, we have different forms of power, but most people think it is just the power that you are now a woman MP and that's it. Yet that's not enough. You as a woman, you have the power within to take control of your surrounding, to capture space, to make impact, to make influence. You as a woman, how are you going to manage and overcome the power that comes over you, the above that you keep hearing? Above has said. How are you going to use that power so that you also break through?
The above has remained anonymous till now.
Exactly. We don't know whether he died or she's still alive.
Even don't know whether the above is
You're like these people who go for burial when they don't know whether the deceased is a woman or a man. So that's where we are at. Women, the power over is really still affecting us. And it is real in political parties, in institutions.
Now, I want to go back to political parties.
Yes.
Political parties, it's assumed that these are breeding grounds.
Yes.
These are centers that, nurture these young women. Not only women, but all leaders.
Yeah, and youth and all
and the biggest question here, again, you earlier told me that some of the vibrant women this country has had before, they were not fully into political parties.
Yes.
Meaning these were self-made women.
Exactly.
Now, when we go into the parties we have now the leading opposition, that is NUP.
No, my party.
Oh, it's your party?
Yeah.
Okay. We have the FDC, we have the DP, even the NRM, PPP, GEMA, CP, UP, name them.
Now we have need.
Now
You've forgotten the baby on the block.
Actually, need. Others call it need, others call it PUM, I think. Because it's a merger. Just like similar to what happened to your party now.
Okay.
Yes, it's not,
it's a new development.
It's not from scratch.
Okay.
Now, the question here is, are these parties doing enough to prepare and nurture leaders for this country, or all they mind is having Lilian Executive? We give you the ticket as long as, do you think she has the capacity to win? You find that these parties do not ask fundamental questions. They ask, do you think Babirye stands higher chances of winning? Yes. They do not ask, does Babirye have the capacity to represent our, our ideology, to carry our flag? So are these parties doing enough within their mandate to present credible candidates for this country?
I think, in my opinion, the parties are still not doing enough, but there may also be reasons why they are not doing this. First of all, the limited resources. Most parties are grappling now. They are struggling with funds. They are just having interest to run, like the office should not close, but you need to show presence, you need to show that we are still in politics, Ugandan politics, but they do not have that money. And due to the shrinking space in the country, most of the donors that were directly funding these political parties have pulled out. So it is also a challenge that even if they would want to train women, the funds are not there. And you know, with what happens now, you invite someone, they expect a modest transport refund. You know, it's not all about coming. People look at knowledge and money. Because remember, most of the people in politics are not financially what?
So knowledge and money move hand in hand.
Hey. And this is the reality. Someone will say, I want to go back. They didn't give us anything. Not forgetting that knowledge is power.
Now, Lilian, let me talk about your own political party.
Yes.
In the UP. You see, there is, under the laws, our political parties have to be funded. And with the exception of NRM, yes, NUP takes home like close to 3 billion shillings annually. Yes. Isn't this enough to have a very smaller portion to bring up and support some women in this country?
I think they are doing some work.
Don't think you should.
Yeah, I know, because today morning they've been at the NUP headquarters looking at the women and talking to them, the women that didn't make it in the past election, like bringing them back, trying to know their needs, their challenges. And I think that's also something good. Whenever you bring together women, they are learning, they are relearning, they are identifying recommendations and strategies on how to move. And there have been several meetings in different hotels that bring together women.
Okay.
I also want to believe even in DP they are doing this, but on a small scale.
So you believe if resources were available, they would have done more?
They always crave for this. They always crave for this. At least I know women leaders are always even reaching out to me, Lilian, we want to train women, but we don't have money, help us fundraise, you know? So the need to train women is there. And across all regions. It's not only in Central or Eastern. But when you calculate the cost implication of delivering trainings, for example, in Karamoja, Katakwi, you just say, may we pray for our sisters to make it here for party tickets. Because you don't have the money.
Now, having political parties, Uganda right now has 26 registered political parties.
Yes.
And why should we have 26 political parties when they only have to sit and wait for elections? Because we expect that these parties, they must do something. You know, anyway, what makes you a party otherwise?
You don't have your ideology. Some people just register parties to keep their ideology. You know, political parties are ideology. What you believe in you as a person and what you want to achieve. Even if you're two, when you have that ideology, you uphold your ideology and you make sure you just add a little number.
Sorry.
Okay, continue. It's okay. Me, I believe it's not all about the number, but the impact we are making towards advancing good democracy.
When you say the impact we are making, whom do you mean?
Us as political leaders.
Okay.
Us as women in politics.
Okay.
Us as people that want to see change in this country. Because whatever we are talking about, all this affirmative action we are talking about, if we had a transparent government, good governance, you know, democracy, rule of law, human rights observance, we would not be yearning to have affirmative action. It would come automatically.
The challenge here is that when we say, okay, when women leaders in your category say we are doing all this because we need to have, or if we had good governance in this country, some of these things would be work. Now, I want to assume that today or tomorrow, if we had another group in power.
Yes.
Yep. If we had another group in power, are we going to have the similar group of people whom we have questions in regards to their performance, their capacity, their ideological orientation, their knowledge base, which is wanting in terms of leadership skills, governance? So this is the same group now we are advocating to take over power. Which kind of country are we building anyway?
No, by the way, for you, you may say maybe they lack the ideological capacity, but it's a network. There are so many people that are out there seated with very good ideas, but they do not have a platform. And reason being, the leadership is curtailed in one small family, you know. It's only a few people that make decisions. Perhaps when we get to a new government, things will change. People will be having maybe the permission to come and deliver maybe good policies. You know, there are countries that have gone beyond us where every citizen has a right to contribute. There are online platforms where you like put your suggestions. There are suggestion boxes in different ministries, in different government offices. And these ones are like opened annually or monthly, depending on how they decide to open these boxes.
And they hear from the public.
And they hear from the public. That is why I used to like those community meetings. Where people, the barazas, community barazas. You know, people come, they'll talk about the corruption in the area, they'll talk about the road that was not done. But right now, if you're silencing everyone, if you're silencing the CSOs, if you're barring the media, you're barring people that would have come to help people voice up, you know, organizations that would have supported these initiatives, yet you're also not giving any alternative. Because if you chase someone's wife, make sure you're ready to become a wife. But that is not happening in this country. So that is why you find that it's even not simple space. Like very many women, that's why sometimes very many women fear to engage in activism, like active politics. They're like, oh, once I start, this is going to happen to me. Once I do this, you know.
You see, Lilian, sometimes we are worried. I've always talked about this several times here on this same platform.
Yes.
You look at the groups that want to take over power, or the groups that want to come into the leadership and the governance.
Yes.
You see, before we even go back to the entire group taking over power, let's look at a few of their members who have made it to certain positions. How are they doing? You look at an opposition party presenting leaders who are really wanting. You look at a leader and like, how did this person make it?
That is why we are mobilizing everyone who...
Sometimes, even the public gets to wonder that. So if
the public never wonders, because we are the ones that elect them.
No, there are sober people in the communities who are like, but now...
By the way, let me tell you that sober people are maybe 10%. Most people don't vote. Most people vote out of excitement.
So is this the kind of trend now we have? We need the gullible leaders in positions, and we move on as a country.
You know, every season comes with its own, you know. So this is the season. Either appreciate the season or wait for another season. That's all I can say. Because even the other issue is that when people take long, like, you know, something that takes so long. Do you get me?
I do.
Long service, long stay in power. When you're getting older, that's when you start getting cancer and you get pressure. Do you understand me? So that may be the reason why such people are coming up. People have lost hope. People have lost faith. Even if they can stand and elect, people will all be buried in one parliament. Even if you elect a doctor, even if, you know, it's all the same parliament, it's all the same legislation, it's all the same cabinet. Everything is centered around one person. So people have lost hope. That is one of the signs that people have lost hope in this country.
Now, you look at our parliament, you look at the contribution of the opposition. I do not want to downpower their contribution, but to a certain point, they have not done as we have expected, as you know, with the members of the public. And you look, just like you've said, you look at the opposition in the parliament, you look at those in government, those for the opposition, for the regime. There is no difference almost. You look, you find those people from the yellow camp who cannot even reason. Someone is a member of parliament. She or he cannot even rise up and say anything.
If
You
I
go
had-
to the opposition, it is the same thing.
If I had the powers, I would close this country. We start from scratch. If I had those powers, I'd be like, now Ugandans, we are starting afresh, new leadership, new structures, new institutions, new everything. Because it's a total mess everywhere.
I have my friend is called Kalanzi Crispus.
Yes.
He's a journalist. What time he called me nangamba.
Exactly. I think sometimes you're like, oh my God, okay, we are stuck in here. Indeed, we are stuck. Because either side, and it gets back to power over. The power is centered in one place. Nothing can be done. Even if you put in much effort, something will always bring you down. Corruption is on the rise. People change because, you know, someone will be speaking ABCD in the morning, in the evening they'll be speaking ZFD, you know? And that is the business as usual. It's no longer, corruption is no longer a secret. Someone will come and say, this, pass this, you know?
Now, Lilian, let's talk about NOWIP.
Yes.
What is NOWIP?
NOWIP was founded in 2016, and that was after the 2016 general elections by women politicians who did not make it to elective offices. We started as 15 women, and I'm glad to note that out of the 15, 5 of them went to parliament. One went for Butambala, she's the district chairperson, and around 4 are councillors. So meaning it's only like 3 of us or 4 who are entering the next parliament to wrap up the...
To join the rest.
Exactly, to wrap up the 15 that founded NOWIP. And the major reason why we founded NOWIP, we found out that as women in politics, we had some unique challenges that were not known to the public. And these challenges were only known to us. So that's how we started. We started sharing. How do we make ourselves more impactful in society? How do we cause development? How do we lobby for ourselves first, then for the vulnerable in community? So that's how we went into action. We recruited members. To present date, I think we are 8,000 women.
Wow.
That are members of NOWIP, and among those, 47 are members of parliament. We have close to 386 that are councillors. Then we have women politicians that did not make it to parliament, those that are still in space. We have women from universities, Makerere University, young women from Babirye University. We have persons with disability, those that want to come as MPs for that special slot in parliament. And we have women that, young women that we keep mentoring as NOWIP. So our mode of operation is more of a sisterhood model. We think that, yeah, we collaborate with each other. We look for opportunities for each other. We share, if there are trainings, we share. And before the 2021 elections, with support from DGF, of course, we trained women on how to use social media, digital technologies. Remember, we had the COVID pandemic, and women were not allowed to move and do the campaigns.
Open campaigns.
Yeah, open campaigns. So we took them through. We trained over 600 women in social media on how to ask for the vote online.
So you could only target to those on smartphones? Yeah,
purely. It was really a town project. But we also reached to some in Kamuli. Women would log on, like from Gulu. Of course, the towns of Gulu, not the villages. It was an urban-based campaign. It was an urban-based project. But we achieved a lot. There are people today that will tell you, do you know I learned Twitter from NOWIP? Now I can also tweet. I can reply to the Twitter journal, you know, those things there. And like they are also trying to push for development in their respective communities. Okay. We have had also trainings and like some kind of rehabilitation for women that did not make it. We have trained women.
It is that severe that they even need rehabilitation?
Yes, we had women that wanted to commit suicide. There was a family that had the dad, the dad and the daughter. They were both contesting.
On the same seat?
No, different seats.
Okay.
The young lady was contesting for councillor slot and the father was for chairmanship.
They all lost?
They all lost. So we found the daughter at the verge of committing suicide. She had even written a letter. The world is too bad. How could they ignore our family? You know? And these are women that, yeah, we cancelled her. She even gave a testimony that if it was known for my sisters from Norway,
she would be normal.
I would be normal. She would be normal, actually. Then there are women that have issues. You know, when you're into an election, so money is spent, in that someone will come, you know, there is a deal here, 10 million they are giving you, you know. You go for that money, you're borrowing from, you know. So women have so many loans after elections and grappling with these loans, telling them, you know, yes, you lost, you have a loan.
Your father has a loan, you also have a loan.
You have a loan, you sold your property, family property, your husband is scolding you, why did you do this, you woman, your bad luck, you know? And all that happens after elections, and these are the things people never see. Voters will just come back. You know, for us, we gave you. Don't know where.
And they still come in. They still come to you.
Hey, for us, we gave you. Those people didn't give you.
But you're my honorable forever.
But you're my honorable. And it is very common that also women lose marriages after election. Maybe because they sold family property, maybe the man became inferior in the middle of the election because everyone is hanging around you and they are calling you honorable, night meetings, you know. So some men can't tolerate that, men that don't have confidence. They'll fight, they're like, this woman I want to manage, even from influence from friends.
How do you have,
you have a woman for, you have a wife, a politician, or what day?
Those night meetings.
Late night meetings. We have to meet this one. So, you know, some women are called, come for, you know, it's really a lot. So we've been giving that service to these young girls, talking to them. We even have a Norway Press. We have a Norway Press hub that really brings these women together. We have a polyclinic that it's an online polyclinic where you call these young women call and book. I have issues A, B, C, D. So you identify those mentors or those counselors that can talk to these young girls so that they're in position to become better women. But our main agenda is fighting for the vulnerable, seeking for politics for development. In the education sector, our members are so much into teen pregnancies, helping those young girls that have been affected. We require our members to get down to the grassroots, identify issues that are hindering the girl child from making it in life. So we encourage our members to have those smart projects. We do like visits amongst ourselves to continue encouraging each other.
And benchmarking from one another.
Yeah, benchmarking. We also encourage women to go for talk shows now like myself. Just like I live now, I'll send you 10 more women here. Oh. You know? So that you don't just wake up on, like maybe when the campaigns are reached and you're just calling people, introducing yourself, I'm so and so, can you please, you know? We just want to create that confidence. And using the Norway Press online hub, we've been able to interact with these women and give them confidence that you can make it. So when you say we are not doing anything, I get bitter. Because we even do when we are not paid. Because this is part of us. We want to see ourselves rising. We want to see fellow women rising up.
But
we want to be.
Question, are those people learning?
No, they're learning. We need to start checking inside their heads to see.
You need an evaluation to see whether...
And when you do the evaluation, but for me, for the projects we have undertaken, there is a big difference. Now, like for the DGF project, actually, I was one of the people that really felt bad upon the DGF closure.
Go to those who closed the DGF to fund your activities.
Isn't that a big joke?
Tell them, please, this was our sole funder for...
And you know, I think they were misinformed because the kind of projects that DGF was doing were really non-partisan.
And DGF was even funding some state agencies.
State agencies, and they were bettering women. Like, how do you become better? Not how do you abuse government. Those are two different things.
I think you're becoming more powerful than them.
I don't know, but it's really sad. So we are back on the road, trying to look here and there to see how we can empower these girls. We already have 100 women that are lined up for empowerment, mentorship for the 2026 elections.
Well, now, how do you get these women? Do you collaborate? Of course, you talked about collaborating with other entities. But do you collaborate with the political parties, or you collaborate with civil community-based organizations in different communities where you want to, to engage with the citizens there?
Our mode of recruitment is quite different from other organizations, other civil society organizations, because for us, we encourage women to come on individual basis. Are you willing? Do you believe in the cause of politics for development? Do you want to be empowered? Actually, members call. For us, we have a line where members call.
A landline, hotline.
A hotline, so and so from Kamuli. I want to join NOIP. And that is how many MPs joined, by the way. When they had what we were doing, they would call, I want to join NOIP, how do I join? We could even get husbands calling on behalf of their wives. I have my wife standing in Kawempe.
How do you support her?
Yeah, she
wants to... How do you make her better?
Exactly. And I was so happy for those men. I'm like, wow, if someone can sit down and say my wife needs this, then it's a plus for us in society.
You have 47 members of parliament.
Yes, that subscribe to the NOIP membership.
Under NOIP.
Yes.
How best are you using those 47 to inspire the rest?
We normally have mentorship sessions, like on a quarterly basis, where we make a mix. Sometimes we have workshops that are tailor-made for only MPs, but on a quarterly basis, we have a workshop that has a mix.
No, just slowly. When you have quarterly meetings, specifically for the MPs to sharpen them on what to do?
The MPs workshops come as and when, because we have organizations that will tell us we want to work with your MPs, so it is our duty. We are like more of a connection. To support them,
to bring them together.
Yeah, and we have several...
So such trainings basically go for what in particular?
It depends. Leadership,
on legislation?
Legislation, becoming a good leader, legislation, gender-based violence. There are really lots of topics, and depending on which organization wants to work with us.
So if I find any vibrant woman in parliament,
those are NOIP members.
Those are NOIP members. Because her chances are high that I may not get 100 vibrant women.
Yeah, you will not.
So if I happen to get 45...
And I must say the women that are vibrant started with us in NOIP, and they took the trouble to learn. You know, they're starting with us, and you're not giving attention to what you're doing. But the women that listen, because we even got support from UN Women, Westminster Foundation for Democracy, and these were delivering tailor-made programs for these women. And I see the women that used to be very active.
They're even active there.
Exactly. And those that were docile, up to today. We even got like 2 members who were the last in the...
the last parliament.
Yeah, not the last parliament, in the previously released answered.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, so we talked to them, like, what is the problem? Where have you gone wrong? What are you going to do better? How are we going to support you? Can we do media engagements and dialogues for you to speak? And so far, I've been seeing them on the floor, just for this period. And you know, women feel comfortable if they are with colleagues. Someone will speak and they are given feedback. You know, today you did well. Here you have to change. Go and get some more statistics. We are even introducing better projects. Then we leave just speaking, but also communicating and speaking issues and statistics. Because I know you people love statistics. Someone will come here and they don't have anything. You'll be like, now this one, I won't invite again. You know? And that is what we are doing as NOIP.
So do you work with these other organizations? Because they're like earlier on we mentioned here the forwarders, the we want it, and so is it like the same network for all these organizations?
I must say for us, we are a baby. Those ones are doing a lot more than us.
These are grandparents, children.
Yeah, but they are really doing a great job in mentoring us. I'm one of the beneficiaries of the different mentorship programs and inclusion programs. Like, they want me to learn so that I also spread to other women in politics. We are also creating synergies. For example, with Akina Mama recently, we were in Kalangala training female MPs.
The Helens and...
Exactly. Helen wasn't there because I think she was abroad, but we had over 22.
At the local level?
No, MPs only. It was strictly for MPs, bettering their capacities, giving them chance to speak about those challenges that we can address as women.
And how they can present them to the floor of parliament. Exactly.
And sometimes we even have that coaching, the mock campaigns, mock legislation, hands-on, so that someone gains that confidence and amongst peers. So I was telling you that sometimes we have programs tailor-made for parliamentarians as per request from our potential donors or supporters of the programs. Then we make sure at least we have one quarterly meeting that brings together all MPs, councillors, those who didn't make it, a mix, so that they also share and see
from one another.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about women in politics, you see politics is kind of broad. And we have the voters who are also politicians. Those people who do the kakuyege.
Opinion leaders.
You know, all those are politicians. Yes. So we have the voters and the voted. So do you only target those who want to assume political offices, or even awakening and, you know, some sort of a civic empowerment for even these other women, that when you go maybe for, if Babirye wants to come as a member of parliament, what are those hard questions you're going to ask Babirye? Rather than coming like Babirye Tazika, you know, Babirye doesn't do this, Lilian doesn't, you know? Because we need to move away from that kind of narrative and thinking that for any good member of parliament must be that person who can go, if there is maybe someone has died, is the one breaking the firewood, is the one doing this, fetching water, those funny things. So are you also supporting on that area of civic empowerment?
We have not had a project supporting that, but if it came, we would welcome it, because women are on ground and they are already women of influence, women that have a following, women that can go and deliver this message, but we do not have the funds right now to do that. So as women, we are, as NOWIP, we are really trying to first better the capacities of our members so that they are able to counter-attack those questions. Okay. Yeah.
Which area do you think has not been fully exhausted when you try to engage with the women at different political levels? Which specific area do you think there is a gap, you know? Maybe say they can present the views, or they lack maybe they lack knowledge or skills on legislation, how to present the emotions, maybe how to do that. You see, in leadership, for instance, parliament, there are basically 4 roles: legislation, representation, oversight, and budgeting.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at these leaders, where do you still see a gap that I think we need to do a lot in this particular area?
Oversight. Because these women are always in committees, for committee meetings that allocate budgets and approve ministerial policy statements, plans for the issuing year, review the past budgets. They are there. And really a good number is contributing. But tracking implementation, tracking what is done, coming out to speak to what was planned and not executed is where we have a big problem.
And how
many women are not yet there. Many women leaders, as long as they pass the budgets, that's it. They don't know whether the school was constructed, whether the ramp was put in place, you know. And that is how we continue losing monies, where they say this was not done, money was taken back, or shoddy work was done, yet you're seeing billions of money allocated on these different activities or programs. So I think that's where we want to put our energies. That is why in the future, you bring me back and I'll tell you the future.
Well, this is the Hotline Show, and of course, every Monday we're here trying to look at different things, issues as they do unfold in our country. We strongly believe that through this platform, we can also make our own contribution to making our country better, to making our country great, to making our country good for each and every citizen, and so that they can each feel and, you know, take a share of the great benefits that we enjoy as a country. In the studios, we have Babirye Lilian, the Executive Director of the Network of Women in Leadership. And we're trying to make sense of the entire concept of affirmative action. When you look at affirmative action, it entails the persons with disabilities who also are well represented in Parliament and even at other elective positions across the country. We have the women, we have the youth, and of late they added on the elderly persons.
Yes.
We have the workers, and I think the affirmative action is becoming more broader than now.
Yeah, I think away from that, I think we also need to push for affirmative action in the world of work.
But you already have workers MP.
No, what are they doing?
The same question.
Have you ever called your workers MP and given them an issue and you see it at the floor of Parliament? So many issues arise in different factories. These are being mistreated, not paid, delayed salary, work hazards, and all that is not catered for. But still, there was something that had come up, that was the gender, what is it called? The gender certificate? It's not the gender certificate. I've forgotten the name, but it was trying to look into how organizations are recruiting, into what policies are there in the organizations that speak to gender equality and inclusion, you know? I think we should also bring that, because sometimes you find an organization from the time you enter until you leave, same tribe from the same village, yeah? Qualification or no qualification.
The official language is different from the one
you know, the official language is, you know, yet there are people that are very qualified, people that can deliver, but they do not have a platform to do this work. So if I became an MP, and I now become, that would be one of the things I'll talk about, because it's really needed. It's really urgent. Like, did you see an advert recently where they were introducing new members in one of the ministries here in Uganda, and they are all coming from the same village?
Yep.
Where are the equal opportunities? Where is the affirmative action? Do you want to tell me that those are the only people that have gone through PhDs, masters, and degrees? No. How about we start that? Recently, I was in Sweden, and I liked the way they advertise. When they are advertising for jobs, they use more of pictorial, like photos. For example, they want engineers, and they also put women. Women are like, we are looking for engineers, but they are putting a photo of women. But they want both men and women, not only...
So they front the women.
They front the women. That already gives you confidence that as a woman, I'll be able to do what? To take up this position.
Not running an advert and you say women are encouraged to apply.
Exactly. It really annoys me. Why should you put women are encouraged to? Why should you put that? Those are things that should be already in our heads. That is why I always think that this issue of affirmative action that we are always preaching and talking about, it shouldn't be knowledge learned. It should be within us. When you see a person with disability, someone is lining up for the parish development model funds, all that, those funds in yoga and all that, and you expect them to be in the line for all that long with someone who is able-bodied, someone who has no problem.
What's wrong with that?
No, it's not right. Me, when I'm pregnant, I don't line up because I
think we need to redefine the whole concept of marginalization and all.
That is typical marginalization, let me tell you.
Now, wait, Lilian. When you find a person with a disability,
yes,
that person is not disabled.
They are not disabled.
But it is the environment
that is disabling them.
That disables those persons.
Yes.
If someone with disabilities wants to access the studio where we are right now, I do not have to lift that person up. All I need to do is to put
a ramp.
A ramp that enables that person to.
Yes.
Now, the moment I try to Bambi is like this, you're already disabling that person.
No, you're not disabling them, you're putting enabling factors. Because now, let me give you an example of someone with albinism.
Next time I'll have to invite Mpindi Pumari here to come and tell us more about this.
Let me tell you, every time you give them, sometimes it's not even those incentives of ramps, brader machines, for those that, but also acceptance that you can get this money, you can access these funds, and you can use them just like any other. But sometimes someone is having, maybe it is a person with albinism, they are standing in the sun for a long time, you're not caring for them because they also came to access money. There are certain small things.
But they are human beings just like other people.
No. Yes, they are human beings. But you as a person, that is why I'm saying affirmative action should start from within us. It should not be knowledge that comes that, oh, now I need to do this for someone. It is something, if we cultivate a spirit where you deep inside yourself, you can change the world without learning anything, without reading books, without being told in a conference, it would make the world a lot better. That is why the other day I told you when we were at Golden Tulip, Madame Machere said, yes, we have a lot. Where are the women? You should not be just called, reminded, now you have to speak about women issues. Now we have this one. We have teenage pregnancies. Women are being, scolded by security. Women are dying. This is something you should see, and you're like, tomorrow I'm starting with this one.
Now, Lilian, I think we also need to redefine the scope of affirmative action. You see, it's like we've been talking about disability and all that. Sometimes it is hard. You even find someone with a bald head, wants to fix himself amongst those with disabilities. You find someone with black toenails, is also, so it's like now the affirmative action thing. When you talk about, you look at the workers, are they marginalized anyway? I don't know.
Yeah, there are workers that are marginalized. There are workers facing sexual harassment at work.
How about the men who are facing the same? There
was a time I fought a battle over an employer that was impregnating most of the employees. And most of the girls used to go away silent. So a turn came and the employer wanted to do it to a lady that is so close to me. It was a battle. And these are things that go unnoticed. Someone will want to make everyone their wives. They would want to infect everyone because of the power they have. Someone will go for maternity leave, and because someone is not comfortable with the way you're carrying on your duties, us as women, before you know it, you're replaced. These are issues we are always hearing. There should be.
There are men who are sexually assaulted, and should you also advocate for affirmative action?
In the last 2 years, give me some statistics.
I may not have this, but these are the cases we always hear about in the communities. They do happen. Actually, I was watching news just recently. There was a story. One man, I think, was
assaulted by that boss?
Yes. So you find that the affirmative action is now creating the imbalance in the society. I don't know if there was room to do a revision and maybe try to narrow down the scope of affirmative action. Which section, which area do you think should be the first to exit the scope of affirmative action?
The area that would be the first. Why? Because we have what they call intersectionality. Someone may be a woman and they're affected by their religion, you're affected by the culture you're coming from, you're affected by your level of education, you know? So, because you can be a woman when you're disabled, when you're mkonjo, you know? And all those factors come and hit on you.
So it's being a mkonjo problem?
No, basing on what people say that those are minority groups, I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
You know? So
that one is a Musoga. That one is a Mutoro.
That one is a Mutoro. You know, those stereotypes that come with the different tribes that are attached to different tribes and all that. So some will be like, that one we shall not give a job. Abantu abo basiru, you know?
They're slow. Mutoro are slow. Those are the narratives.
Hey, those narratives.
So the next time we shall have Member of Parliament representing Batoro, because they are under the marginalized groups of people.
Leave Batora alone.
Okay, we shall have, let me say, which group now?
Of course, those people from Kasese, how are they called? The little people?
Yes, but the little people, they are under persons with disabilities.
They are minority groups.
Yes, and
you may not categorize them as persons with disabilities,
that's why
because they do not have a disability. They are just short.
Yes, and
that's not
that
a
short is
disability.
the disability.
No.
So if one wants to get there and is unable,
no.
then we have...
they are different variables.
Because just like the persons with albinism,
and by the way, when you talk about that, most people don't consider persons with albinism as persons with disability. Even when they are grouping how many people they are helping and how they are allocating funds, they are not included. They are considered as normal people.
But according to the National Union, NUDIP, when they are categorizing, actually when they are trying to, when they tell you about persons with disabilities, they bring the short, are they called short people?
Little people.
Little people, sorry. The little people, persons with albinism, they bring
as different categories.
The vitiligos, as they're all under persons with disabilities. Yes.
Okay.
Now, we wanted to talk about, I wanted to give you an example that if you go to Kenya,
yes,
when you're registering a political party, I think that's far. Let me bring it so closer. When a party is trying to access funds,
yes,
according to the new amendments they've just made.
In Kenya? In
Kenya, yes. Yeah. There is a study I'm doing in Kenya on how their political parties are regulated. Yeah. Now, a political party, to access funds, there's some things you must be following. One, how many candidates did you present
in the previous
election?
Oh, wow.
How many special interest groups did you have? Maybe you have women, we have persons with disabilities.
Youth, elderly.
Yes. And so all those contribute to, there is actually 70% of the funds, the public funds, is distributed among us on the basis of how many people voted for you.
Wow.
Yeah?
I need to read.
Yes, I'll share it with you. How many people participated, voted for your political party? That maybe NUP got, in general, they got 4 million votes across the country. So you're entitled to 70% of this, which, you know. Then how you positions one at different levels. Then the structural leadership of your party. Maybe we have persons with disabilities, you know, that kind of arrangement. And as we try to advocate for more space for these marginalized groups, if we could also do a similar, we could do a benchmark on the same.
Yeah.
In that our political parties, you're a strong apologist of NUP and all other political parties we have. And we have such guidelines. How many persons with disabilities did you present as candidates?
That's very good.
You know, how many people do you have within your leader? Actually, even when a party is being registered,
They look at
that composition.
Wow.
They look at that composition before a political party is being registered. Because for them, they first give you provisional certificate. Then the provisional certificate gives you the authority to go and recruit. So when you present at least 1,000 voters, I think, per county, at least 24 counties.
With those categories?
You must have those categories.
Oh.
If you do not meet that, you don't
qualify.
Yes. So I'm trying to think if we could have a similar kind of arrangement here, that political parties, it's a law, it's a legislation, it's a policy. We have policies that for any political party, on your leadership, if you have 15, you should have 7 women.
Yeah. And what is the time span for registration?
It's 100. When you get the temporary certificate, that's provisional certificate, that process takes 180 days. Okay. 180 days, that's 4 months.
And the renewal...
No. Then after the provisional certificate, the full registration takes 30 days. So in 30 days, you must recruit 1,000 members in at least 24 counties, because they have 47 counties.
Like looking at all those variables that you have told me. We had started something like gender assessments within political parties. Of course, this was also spearheaded by you on it, where we would go as the women's movement to critically analyze what a political party is doing in terms of gender and equity and all that. But now I like the fact that it is now on a higher level. It is more of institutional, and you cannot meander, you cannot lie that we are training these women, we are recruiting these persons with disability and all that, because you will have to show the evidence.
Yep.
So I think that's a take home. I learned something new today.
Well, I think we need to get out of here. We are really... have to go, and I want to give you just strictly 1 minute to give me your last word, and then we'll close the show.
Yeah, my last word is that women are change agents. Let's speak to that. Let's stick to that as women in politics. Let's not just be participants in the development of this country, but let's take lead and make sure we take to our country where we want it to be. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Madam Babirye Lilian. I really thank you for creating time to be part of tonight's discussion. And then for all our viewers, I really thank you for being part of the show right from the time we've started at 7 until now. And then, of course, the crew that I have worked with in the control room and here in the studios, I appreciate you for being able to put up this together. Thank you so much. And my name is Abdulatif. This brings us to the end of tonight's hotline. Until next month again, have a lovely night.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.